Patriots fans, we are almost in April, which means the 2025 NFL Draft is approaching and promises to bring a lot of excitement. The Patriots hold the fourth pick, but the central question is, what will happen leading up to the event? There's a lot to explore, so let's dive into this topic. I will address the NFL Draft, and currently, various sources are projecting possible picks for the Patriots. It's interesting to note how these projections have changed, and there's an expectation of success in this scenario, utilizing sophisticated algorithms and analysis. I'm not entirely sure how all of this works, but it reminds me of a movie I saw, although I can't recall the character's name. If you know, feel free to leave a comment. Now, let's get to the point, and by the end, we'll discuss the possibility of the New England Patriots selecting a running back. I believe in the later rounds, they should secure a running back, and I'll mention one in particular that I find interesting and that I think many will appreciate, especially in an offensive scheme led by a renowned coach. Let's start by discussing Will Campbell. At this moment, I won't go into too many details, but Will Campbell appears quite promising for the fourth pick. Many have commented on his arm length, which has sparked a lot of debate. I understand the concern, but the player knows how to perform on the field, as he has experience playing left guard in the Southeastern Conference. What truly stands out is a recent podcast discussion where it was mentioned that he has gained admirers within the organization in Foxborough. His behavior, character, and the overall impression he left during interviews have been remarkable as the draft draws near. A solid culture is being built within the team, and there was a remark about the positive impact a specific athlete has had on the team. While it's acknowledged that this athlete has faced some struggles off the field, the focus remains on bringing in individuals who positively contribute to the team culture and who can stand out as leaders, helping in the franchise's rebuilding efforts with the ultimate goal of making the playoffs and winning a trophy. Analyzing this player, it's clear that he possesses all the necessary traits: behavior, character, and an impressive performance in interviews demonstrating his leadership abilities, all supported by a strong showing in college. Therefore, it is evident that he fits the expected profile of a quality player, aligning with the team's values. The expectation is that he could effectively fill the left tackle position, and there is confidence in his abilities. Additionally, as mentioned before, he has a strong desire to prove the skeptics wrong, which reinforces my leaning towards the possibility of him being the pick. It's important to highlight that if a specific player remains available, there's a high chance he will be selected. If this player is still in the running, the pick seems almost guaranteed, making the situation even more interesting. However, the chances of both players being available at the same time seem limited, which makes it more likely that something unexpected will happen. I'll choose one of the two players mentioned. If it's Abdul Carter, it's definitely a 100% chance, and Travis Hunter. If both happen to be available, I wouldn't even consider that possibility. The odds of that happening are lower than being struck by lightning, bitten by a shark, and winning the lottery at the same time. The Patriots would have to decide between them at the fourth spot. If that happens, someone should remember this moment when I made this statement, and I'll admit my mistake. However, this is highly unlikely. We all know that. So, if one of these athletes is picked, sure, but if neither is on the board, I think there's a significant chance Will Campbell will be the option. Now, let's check directly on the Patriots website. They've developed a draft simulation tracker, which I find very practical and up-to-date. The Patriots are quite competent in this area, as I mentioned earlier, and I'll briefly touch on this. Abdul Carter is an alternative if he remains available, as is Travis Hunter, and many of these names keep coming up. Now, the name Membu surprised me, and you'll notice this as we begin evaluating the probabilities. You might ask, why are we discussing betting odds again? However, it's essential to recognize that they have an effective business model and have created several algorithms to establish these probabilities. Let's analyze this, and I believe some revelations may surprise you. Can he play left tackle after having always played right tackle throughout his career at Missouri? That is still in doubt. We can move forward to Will Campbell. We've already talked about Mason Graham and again about Travis Hunter. Connerly presents an interesting situation where they trade 3,877 to move up in the draft. We have Will Campbell again, and McMillan was mentioned alongside Travis Hunter. The pattern continues with Travis Hunter and Mimbu, as well as Will Johnson. We continue to see Travis Hunter, and for all the admirers, both men and women, who support him, he is a great player. I agree with the pick of Will Campbell and Abdul Carter. Mimbu is my preference. Kelvin Banks could also be considered if they decide to trade down in that situation. So, we notice that the same names keep showing up. Now, let's consider an example of a betting platform. There are real fans, both men and women, who are completely fascinated by him. I agree, Will Campbell and Abdul Carter are among the top talents I would love to see. Kelvin Banks is also in the conversation, and there's always talk about trading down in this situation. You keep seeing those familiar names popping up. Now, let's analyze the odds from a betting platform. Currently, the number 1 overall pick is Cam Ward, which means that if you bet $1,350, you can win $100. That's what the negative sign indicates. So, while it's not an absolute certainty, it's highly likely that Cam Ward will be chosen first overall. Now, second on the list is less than -300, suggesting that the Browns will select Abdul Carter. If you bet $300, you would get back your investment plus $100. But is this pick as certain as Cam Ward going first? Not necessarily, although less than -300 still represents good odds. Now, we come to a fascinating point. Travis Hunter's odds are under -150, while Shatter Sanders has odds above plus 170. Uncertainty, it seems to favor Travis Hunter. What leads me to mention this is that it seems to be following the trajectory we initially predicted. Cam Ward first, followed by Abdul Carter, and then Travis Hunter. From there, the Patriots will have to decide whether to select a tackle or make a trade. Let's dive deeper into an aspect I find particularly interesting. The odds for the 2025 draft regarding the first offensive lineman selected indicate that it's not Will Campbell, but rather Mayu, who is under -165. The situation has evolved. Not long ago, Travis Hunter was seen as a more likely pick for the New England Patriots than for the New York Giants, while Will Campbell was considered a stronger candidate to be the first offensive lineman chosen compared to Mayu. This shift is quite significant. It's important to point out that, despite none of this being absolute certainty, there are reasons why these betting analysts tend to be successful. This leads us to think about what information they might have that we don't yet know. Are they paying attention to expert discussions? They generate significant revenue, which raises the question about what insights they have that we may not possess. Could there be behind-the-scenes discussions with experts or analyses revealing trends? Various draft simulations and analyses are underway, creating an intriguing environment. This raises the possibility that the Patriots might opt for a player like Mebo, although I still have my reservations. If we look at the analysis provider, some may see this as irrelevant, questioning the relevance of the debate. However, I think it's essential to explore these possibilities, as they could bring surprises. There's a reason why the consensus is not fully in favor of Cam Ward as the first overall pick, currently priced at less than -1,600. This shows a higher level of confidence compared to the second pick, which is less than -270, suggesting some uncertainty in this regard. Travis Hunter is mentioned at under -150, while the most likely option for the Patriots remains Travis Hunter at over plus 150. Right after that, Abdul Carter, Mebo, and Will Campbell appear. This makes me wonder what impressions these analysts have that we don't. Is there a prevailing sentiment favoring Will Campbell over Mebo? They may have information indicating that Mebu's draft value is on the rise, especially after his Senior Bowl performance, where he seemed to face some challenges due to an illness. Since then, it appears interest in him has grown, as many weren't able to observe his skills more closely. For those who see Jenny as the fourth pick for the Patriots, the odds of plus 2,000 are quite tempting, suggesting that a $100 bet could return an additional $100, totaling $2,000. Alternatively, if someone is feeling bold and considers Scadaboo as the first overall pick, a $100 bet could yield an impressive $10,000, although this scenario seems remote. There are other alternatives to investigate, and it's interesting to note that Mebo is ranked higher than Will Johnson in some evaluations. This brings us back to the central question: what do they know that we don't? Regarding a $100 bet, it could result in $10,000, which clearly isn't practical. Moving forward, it's curious that Mebo ranks ahead of Will Johnson in more than one evaluation. Therefore, the question remains, what do they know that we don't? Additionally, there was another piece of information about Ashton Jenney being linked to the Patriots, with odds higher than plus 1,800, and upon observing Travis Hunter being selected in the second position, it's important to note that the trade initially didn't involve the Giants, but the Patriots. I believe the news surrounding Russell Wilson has shifted the dynamic significantly, but that doesn't mean they aren't trying to acquire Chad Sanders, which remains a strong possibility, given that Russell Wilson is on a one-year contract and Jameis Winston is on a 2-year deal, although he's not a starting quarterback. My theory is that many people are genuinely interested in Arch Manning, who will enter the draft next year. When we examine Tyler Warren, the Patriots are very far down the list with odds of plus 5,000. These numbers make us question what's truly happening. Could Mebo truly be more valued than Will Campbell? Many might think that, no matter what happens, if they reach the 4th pick and don't have Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter, they'll need to trade down and still secure one of the 3. I don't disagree with that, as many would be happy to trade down and even move back further into the draft, securing a Josh Simmons, who, despite his knee injury from the previous year, would have been the first among offensive tackles in this draft. He could be one of those inspiring stories, like Stephon Diggs, perhaps. But reflect on this and share your thoughts on the significance of all this. If you truly believe Mebo is rising up the lists and there's a strong possibility the Patriots will select him, express your views. Or, on the other hand, do you think it's more about the narrative that's heard more about Will Campbell? Regarding the running backs, we've already mentioned how the Patriots should look for a running back at some point. The Triads could select him, so it's essential to listen to different opinions on this matter. Do you think it's more about the narrative? People tend to hear more about Will Campbell than other players, but who can say for sure? Let's now turn to the running back position. We've already talked about the probability of the Patriots selecting a running back during this draft. I'm confident in this pick. That's my impression. Dylan Sampson is an exceptional player from Tennessee. I had the chance to see him play closely, as a relative is a huge fan of the university. For those who follow me, you know my love for college football. Being a Michigan State fan, I've had some tough moments, but Dylan Sampson is fascinating. If it weren't for Ashton Gentry, I believe Dylan could have garnered several honors in college football this year. I'm not saying he would have won the Heisman, but he certainly could have taken the Doak Walker Award and other accolades. He was recognized in the SEC, competing against high-level teams and defenses. Each season, he faced Georgia and Alabama, 2 of the top teams in the country, as well as many of the top prospects in this year's draft. While he's not projected as a first-round pick, we all know this. It's more likely that he'll be chosen on the 2nd day, possibly in the 3rd round. In that case, he would fit well as an athlete who can make a big difference on the team. I don't want to make a direct comparison to James White, but he has the potential to be impactful. There are suggestions that he could compete for the starting position alongside Ramondre Stevenson. If Stevenson can solve his fumble issues, I'm sure he'll perform well, especially with an offensive line that has improved significantly. Dylan Sampson has the necessary experience to stand out, running effectively from the backfield and executing various plays. A relative likes to compare him to Alvin Kamara, as both played for Tennessee before Kamara transferred to Alabama. However, the Volunteers didn't fully utilize Kamara, and I believe the offensive strategy would benefit greatly from Sampson's abilities. My relative mentions that he appreciates the comparison to Alvin Kamara, especially because Kamara also started his career at Tennessee before playing for Alabama. However, the Tennessee Volunteers didn't make full use of Kamara. I believe a coach like Josh McDaniels would shine with a player like Dylan Sampson. Therefore, it's interesting to hear opinions on this. For those who may be wondering, I've never stated that everything discussed here is confirmed information, but it definitely sparks reflections and raises questions about why the odds favor someone like Mebo. Feel free to share your opinions, as I value each of them. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to Patriots Hub and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our New England Patriots. And don't be shy. Share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The possibility of Aaron Donald wearing a New England Patriots jersey has sparked an electrifying buzz across the NFL. As one of the greatest defensive players in history, his potential move to Foxborough could completely reshape the Patriots' defensive strategy. Despite Donald's official retirement in March 2024, whispers of a possible return to the field, particularly with a powerhouse like the Patriots, are causing a stir in both the sports media and the locker room. Could the five-time first-team All-Pro be making a comeback, this time for Bill Belichick? The Patriots, known for their tactical brilliance, are eyeing a defensive reinforcer to strengthen their lineup. With Donald's remarkable career, highlighted by 3 Defensive Player of the Year awards and 10 Pro Bowl selections, it's no surprise that New England is considering what would be an extraordinary acquisition. After all, his influence on the field is undeniable, with a relentless ability to disrupt plays and dominate offensive lines. The Patriots have been no strangers to securing veteran talents, and Donald, even at 32, could offer an unmatched presence in their defensive front. Though Donald's retirement seemed final, the allure of a championship-caliber roster under Belichick's leadership might be too tempting to resist. His history with the Rams, winning Super Bowl 56 and consistently dominating his position, puts him in a league of his own. The question on everyone's mind, would Aaron Donald reconsider his decision and return to the NFL with one of its most storied franchises? The Patriots' defensive unit has shown flashes of brilliance, but lacks that game-changing player who can command respect from opponents. Donald, with his overwhelming strength and ability to change the course of a game, could be the missing piece to elevate New England back into Super Bowl contention. His presence would not only fortify the front line, but also set the tone for a new era of defense in the AFC East. As the NFL offseason unfolds, all eyes will be on whether the New England Patriots can secure Aaron Donald and add yet another legendary talent to their roster. Fans and analysts alike are eagerly awaiting any sign of movement on this front, knowing that the Patriots' next steps could be nothing short of seismic for the future of the league. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our New England Patriots, be sure to subscribe to Patriots Hub and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.